Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am Lorianne Casdia. Our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, and empower you to fulfill a healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life so you too can feel empowered to live the life you have always wanted and dreamed. I hope you're having a really great Saturday. I know I am, and really, really happy to have this guest back on. Jill was on before with version 8.0 of Jill Eggenbraaten. And I'm so excited to bring her back on because she, like I, am a coach. We love helping other people, lifting them up. I think you're going to enjoy your next hour. So grab your cup of coffee and come sit or do a little project while you're listening to us, because I hope that we are going to lift you up and enlighten you today. And I want to welcome to the show, Jill. Jill, thank you so much for being on.
Lorianne, thank you so much for reminding me to get my coffee, too.
Oh, well, you got to have your coffee.
For being here.
I have my water, so I'm a good girl today.
Me too. I got my water.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Treadmill, right? Get on the treadmill and listen.
Yeah, you can get on the treadmill. You know what I do when I'm talking to clients on the phone? Sometime I have this stationary bike, and I'm on my bike while we're chatting, you know, if it's not a Zoom call. So it's whatever you guys want to do, just do it, but just keep an ear open, because Jill has lots of nuggets that are going to be helpful in life and also in your business and just breaking those barriers. So Jill, how have you been?
Hey, I've been really great. I've done a little traveling, and, you know, sometimes it's a little scary. We got to plan right. We got to be safe right now. But I did go to San Diego for my advanced training with the Canfield group, with Jack Canfield himself and Patty Aubrey, Kathleen Seeley, to get my certification and learn more about the Canfield Methodology of teaching, because that's what I am. I'm a transformational trainer, and I help women get from, you know, where they are in their life. A lot of times the women I'm speaking with are divorced or retired or empty nested or major shifts in their life. And I was so excited to be there in San Diego with a lot of other transformational trainers and coaches and people wanting to just help people. And it's so amazing how it raises our vibration and what we feel about ourselves, and to have that kind of support. So a week out there, plus a couple other projects and some calls and follow-up calls, and every time after those calls, just like yours, when I'm talking with you, so, I'm like, I can tame the world. And so
that's right.
It's exciting. That's why I love doing it. So it was a great week out there. And actually doing another program on this week that we'll talk about another time, but it's really helping people to break through blocks that we have and what keeps us attaining our goals.
Yeah, well, I'd love to talk about where you are, not now, but maybe in our second half, because I think it's really germane about what you're doing, and you continually educate yourself like I do, trying different methods so that you can put all these different methods in your toolbox to help your clients get where they want to be, because we want to take everybody as transformational success coaches. We want to take them where they are to where they want to be, and that's, you know, achieving, in my language, their vision and dreams. And that's something that we both aspire to work with our clients to do. And it's so exciting, Jill, when it happens. And I just had one of my clients have a big breakthrough this week. So I'm like flying on air as if it were one of my breakthroughs, because it's so beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to watch someone successfully attain a vision that they thought was out of reach, and then easily grasp it because they followed the steps that we kind of guided them on. So it was really, it was good, because I have a current client who kind of fights me on doing it, and finally resolve themselves to show up for themselves and take the steps that we're providing. And now they're seeing successes. And isn't it amazing when they get onto that train track?
It really is. And I have to say, like you said, we continue to learn. We continue to find ways to fill that toolbox and share with people. But I'm a part of an accountability group, so we're actually pretty diligent. We were talking every morning at 7 a.m., with two other women that I met through another training program. And just to say, because we were just struggling getting on board, getting back fit again, right? Getting back on the treadmill and eating the right things and doing that. So we're accountable to each other. We make it's not quite a mastermind, but it's a quick accountability. Where are you? What's your big challenge that you're going to do for today? And what's your intention? And this has been amazing for one of our friends, for her, because she's created her business on her own. Mm-hmm. She's a coach for businesses. And for her to see where she's been almost a year ago, and she is flourishing because she's listened to herself. She's listened to us, right? Because that's a part of getting other people involved and saying, this is my intention. And when we let other people know about our intention, it's crazy how many people want to come and support you when maybe you felt alone, or you maybe felt like, I'm the only one who struggles with this. Well, you're not. Right?
We all struggle.
Sharing it and putting it out there. Yep. And she did, and that's why she ended up joining my group of 2. Now it's a group of 3. And I'm just so excited on what she's done over this last year, and she surprised herself.
Yeah,
so
it's amazing, the growth, and you do get surprised because you and I both have gone through our own surprises of growth as we go through our process, as we navigate, and through our experiences, we can help people transform and navigate as well. So it's really good to have those successes. It also, we understand the battle within ourselves. We have our own blocks that we need to overcome. And we also sit there and second guess ourselves, and we need to do this within ourselves as well as while we're coaching other people. That's how we come from a knowing place. It's not like we're sitting here saying, do this, do as I say, not as I do. Remember when Mom used to say that? Do as I say, not as I do. We don't do that. It's believe it, then you'll see it. That has always been my mantra, is I believe it first, then we'll definitely see it, because that's how the law of attraction works. That's how the universe works. That's how we become manifestors. And we start with ourselves. So we're role models, and we do it ourselves. So when you're taking your travels like you have, and you've just had a big move, you've discovered a new place, you take these amazing leaps. I love watching and listening and seeing what you're doing, because I'm like, this girl is just not staying put. Because when I met you, you lived in Dallas. Then you moved to Florida. Mm-hmm. And now you're moved someplace else. And I just love the fact that you're constantly growing. And that's how we grow and expand. And we don't stay stuck on our comfy couch, right?
Well, and I think that's part of it, is be willing to take that chance. I think as we often hear, that when you become uncomfortable, that is the time when change will happen.
Sure.
So for me, if it's moving, again, so this is in my life, this is my 23rd move. However, it's still, it can still be a little stressful. It is a little bit now. The house I thought I was getting, I'm not getting. I went, okay, something better's out there.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people manifesting that too. So I didn't get the cottage.
Oh, that's okay, though.
But it is, because guess what? I found another place that was, there's more room. There's, the location. I've decided this is better. So it kind of relieved me of that other one. Even though I had so many people wishing me well and sending me good vibrations for that. But I think that taking an uncomfortable step, saying what it is that you want to do. And again, part of that is making that verbal to people, family, friends. It's sometimes scary to tell our family and people, that we spend time with that might not be on that same wavelength or vibration of us, because we got to be really strong, don't we, to say, this is what I want to do, especially when they don't understand it. And so that's why I also help women to say, you got to be strong about what it is you want. What's your passion? Yeah. What is going to make you happy? What's going to leave your legacy for this next, portion of your life?
Well, just stop for a second on that, Jill, because you make such a valid point. So a lot of people don't know what they want. So walk us down the road generically of how does someone discover what it is that they want?
Well, for me, I do it through a meditation process that there's a couple of ways to do this where you can actually, and it's really kind of brief, you close your eyes, you think about what makes you happy?
Yes.
Like, when am I the happiest in my life? What's that vision? What does that look like? And for some people, they're really, really happy when they're doing art, but yet they're doing something very technical.
An accountant,
not creative.
Right.
Yeah. And so we kind of go back through that. I'll tell you what something I did not too long ago is I did the 100 actually turned out to be 104, 100 things that I've accomplished in my life.
Yes.
And I
love that exercise.
And then I kind of highlighted the ones that brought me the most joy.
Yeah.
What were they? And for me, I found that they were all volunteering and helping and moving people from one place to another. Not physically, I will do that, but mentally, I'm, helping them move to an understanding. And so plus the arts and crafts stuff, I really am kind of artsy, but I can do that through my training. So I do scouting, and I train scout leaders, scout masters to be scout masters.
Yeah.
So I get to give my training, but I get to be creative because I do it out in the woods.
Yeah.
When we're out at a camp out. And so right now I'm looking at my chart I have right now. We've kind of talked about how we mentor people. Mm-hmm. So one way is on Zoom, right? Great way. We're not doing it in person quite as much, but I found Zoom, I can touch so many people.
Oh my gosh.
But we kept doing this in scouting. We kept doing face-to-face. We had our masks on. We were outside. We had, 6 feet apart, because for some people, that environment of where you're learning and where you're taking this all in is important too, right? And so for those people, they're learning SMART goals, how do we communicate? How do we mentor youth and others, right? Because they're going to take this back to work too.
Right.
Believe me. Yeah.
Well, we use it in all portions of our lives. That's the coolest thing about our success coaching. Our transformational coaching is not just business wise; it's life. That's why I call myself a life and business transformational success coach, is because it's all. It's not. We can't separate our life from our business. We are one human, so we need to look at ourself holistically, right? But I love the 100 successes in life and highlighting the ones. And here's a little trick. I don't know if you do this. Tell me if you do or not. Mm-hmm. When I do this exercise with my clients to do the 100 successes, which is a great thing because people are they always look for these huge, large steps. And I was like, it could be the littlest thing. And you have to remember that. But what we do to make it even less arduous, because somebody goes, 100 successes. How can I'd never had that. And I was like, okay. First of all, we start from 100 and we go back by 10. So we put an item in 100, then we put an item in 90, then we put an item in 80, and you see that page filling up. So psychologically, because you started at 100, you already completed your 100. So now it's not as overwhelming to write down 100 things. When you go back by 10s, it fills the page up. And then we go back by 5s, doing 95, 85, 75. And then in between that, filling all the rest in, it seems so easy because the hard part was filling that page. So just a little help on doing the 100 successes in life. If you guys want to do that for yourself, because we need to celebrate our successes. We take our successes for granted, and those successes are just as important as our failures. The failures allow us to have a learning curve, right? And allow us to be even better. So failures are good, actually, believe it or not. And then, but our exactly, our successes are where we can take those things, put them in our toolbox. I kind of call it a toolbox or a tool belt, so that we have access to those successes that allow us to jump and learn from the things that we're not as good at yet is the underlining thing, right? So as long as we're learning from our failures, it's still a success in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great way. I'm putting that one in my box.
Oh yeah, feel free.
It's going backwards. But the other thing that I really noticed too is that you don't have to start with the biggie big.
No.
First of all, I was born. How the struggle to get that to happen.
Yeah.
It's just, it is.
Yep.
And so you did it. So somewhere you were ready, and this was going to happen for you. And when you learn to feed yourself, when you learn to, go to potty on your own, ride a bike,
walk,
a two-wheeler, even a training wheel or a tricycle, or, sit through a whole movie. Or my oldest, he was so good. When we were living in Hong Kong, and I'm taking him to church, right? And we're in a small little schoolroom, and he sat there at a 2-year-old and was mesmerized by the preacher. And the preacher came and said, How's he sitting through my sermon? He's staying awake and watching me. I said, I don't know. I think that's a true accomplishment, though, for this little 2-year-old to do that. But, that's something my son could put on his. But it doesn't have to be the really big things. But here's the thing about it. I realized when I put that together, the point in my life where I was starting to have places that I was stuck.
Yeah.
That things happened in my life at that time. And the really cool thing was, all these years I thought it was something else, but when I did that chart and I looked at it, I realized it wasn't. It wasn't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
It was something totally different.
Yep.
And which was really more about me than another person. And I found that incredibly powerful, that could work. Just doing that could work in so many different ways.
Yeah, and that powerfulness of finding those patterns allows you, and in the end, it's always us. So even those people who annoy the bejeebas out of us, the question isn't, why are they so annoying? The question is, what am I supposed to learn? And it's usually something about ourselves that we're supposed to learn. And sometimes it's patience, and sometimes it's kindness, and sometimes it's maybe we act that way, and how can we act a different way? E plus R equals O, event plus response equals outcome, right? So I know
that's what I had to present. I had to present that.
Oh, in front of Jack Canfield, who is the one who came up with that.
Exactly. Yeah, and that'd be critiqued by him. He came up on stage.
No pressure.
His input, and no pressure on that one. And so I've got my videotape of it and everything. But you're exactly right. How we respond to the things that happen in our life.
At the end, everything comes back. Yeah, everything comes back to that. And based on what happened years ago could be affecting us still today and keeping us stuck, and we don't even know we're stuck. But yet we keep ricocheting off of the same issues, and we keep seeing patterns of the same thing coming in, and it's just like, oh, all these people are crazy. Maybe that pattern is pointing to something that you're doing in a block that you need to get over. And so how we find that out is by doing 100 successes, because we're also praising ourselves and taking a moment to really see how amazing we are. Because I see every single person I meet, I see their incredible superpowers. I'm able to see that incredibleness, even if it's a little flicker. And it's so amazing. And to be able to coach that out of someone so that they see it. Once they see it, they're on fire, and they're on their way. It's like the mother bird pushing the bird out of the nest. That's when that's when my little bird goes out of the nest, because now they see it. And you got to be able to see it in order to do something on it. So it's like you have to be able to recognize something in order to improve it or to fix it. If you don't see it, how are you supposed to fix it? That's just craziness, right? So it's a lot of fun. Don't you just love the feeling of helping other people?
Well, I do. And, that was, I think, one of the things, again, going back to that 100 things that you've done, was that's a pattern in my life.
Yeah.
I see in 3rd grade, I was tutoring kids in math, my math class, because I was doing, it was easy for me at that point. I was in youth group in high school, and we did our trips out and about. We did, so for me, that's something that really fulfills me and brings me joy. Yeah. And a lot of that involves teaching people. And honestly, that's the thing that kept on coming up in my meditations and in my questioning and my asking, like, what am I to do? Why am I here, Lorianne? I mean, we got to ask ourselves, like, why am I here? If you're there, if you want to find it out, if you want to be happy, the happiest you could possibly be. And I think that that's something that once you can find that, it's also putting together with what your skills are.
Yeah.
Well, how can I do this if I love doing this? Because we need to make a living too, right? We can't take that out of it. But
correct.
And that, for me, is where talking to other people, talking to mentors, asking people who have done what I want to do and speaking with them, listening to your show and hear what you've done and hear what the people you bring on have done and how we can learn from that. And then maybe find a mentor, ask the questions.
Yeah.
And help ourselves to grow, right?
Yeah,
we got to do it. We can't expect other people to do it. We got to do it.
Absolutely. And you know, having an accountability partner, whoever that is important. We do that when we go with a friend to the gym and know that we don't want to let them down. So we drag ourselves out of bed to go to gym, even when we don't want to, because we know the other person is waiting. And if you don't have that other person waiting, you're probably going to stay in bed. So that accountability partner in coaching, and we'll get to that in the second half, I think is a really important element in success. And that's where you see successful people just come out of the chute, if you will. It looks natural, but it's not. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lorianne. If you have any questions or comments or ideas you'd like to hear more about, please email us at no, that's not right, at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. That's healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. Wow, I had a moment there, Michael. So I'm just so excited because we are on with the great, amazing, fantastic Jill Eggenbraaten, and she is just amazing at what she does in coaching and walking through life with grace. Jill, we were just talking about when we left off, we were just talking about, you know, having accountability partners, getting yourself a coach, the importance of it. You have one, I have one. You know, it's real important. I know my accountability coach, oh my gosh, kicks my butt and keeps me on my train track, keeps me in focus, and makes sure that I get the things that I need to do for my own business while I'm helping other people grow their business. And I love seeing people grow their business. So, you're right now at an event and you called in to the radio show while you're at this event. And let's talk about the event that you're at to add to the tools that you have as a coach.
Well, let's do that. So when I was in San Diego, as I mentioned earlier, with the Canfield group, with Jack Canfield, he has two people that he ever would promote in his programs. And one of those people is Dr. Deborah Sandella. And she created a program called RIM. And the RIM program really helps you go from understanding what it is that's blocking you. And so how it is when we think of our mind hears words, right? But it also, if we allow ourselves to have the feelings that go with those words, or the feelings for situations, or perhaps those things that are blocking us, it might be trauma. It might be just an incident or a conversation. But when we connect that and make those words actually something, how do you feel it? What does it feel like? What does it look like? And give it that, our brain is now allowed to move it forward and get rid of it, as opposed to saying, ignore it. Because if you ignore it, it manifests in our life.
Agreed.
Oh, sorry, I'm out of breath here. I've gone downstairs to get her book.
Oh. It is amazing. And what's the name of Deborah's book?
So her book is called Goodbye, Hurt and Pain, 7 Simple Steps for Health, Love, and Success.
Yeah, it's a fantastic tool.
Seller. Yeah. So this is actually helping what we're doing now. She's doing some introductory courses, but she also has people who are masters in this. And what it stands for is regenerating images in memory. Because that's where we're holding it.
Right.
It is an image in our memory that is holding us back. I'm really hopeful for this to help the women who are that I coach that are divorced right? Because there's a lot of pain involved with that.
Yeah.
Not that there isn't in other things, but there's a lot of pain, and sometimes it's just hard to move on. So if they can say goodbye to that hurt and pain and be okay in their current life, oh my gosh, the possibilities, right? Now, we have some people in the group right now that some have actually been sexually abused, and this is a bigger thing. But
sure.
Dr. Deborah Sandella, she's actually a PhD. She's been she is oh boy, I'm going to get me on this one. She's actually also a nurse, but she's a psychotherapist. Mm-hmm. And so she came upon this 20 years ago in realizing that in order to help people get through this process. So I did it with her. I did it with her for an hour back in San Diego. And it actually changed what I looked like, my face, the stress that I had in my body, and everything, just getting rid of this one little piece that was bothering me. And here's the really crazy thing. I came and saw my daughter here now in South Carolina, mm-hmm. and she said, Mom, she says, I got to tell you, since you're divorced, you've been stressed and everything but you look younger right now.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out.
Because stress in women make us look haggard. It's true. That's a scientific fact. Stress in women make us look haggard. So by releasing that, you have really released some good stuff in your system to allow you not to look so tired and so haggard, right? Not that you ever did. I mean, I've known you for over a year now, and you've never looked haggard, especially just for our listeners to know, Jill is known as the hat girl because she has all kinds of hats. I thought I had a lot of hats. Jill puts me to shame, and she wears them all the time too. So it's like her signature. And I love every minute of it. I actually have a friend of mine who's been on this show before. Everybody who listens know Dr. Debbie Silber, and she is a PhD, and she found post-betrayal traumatic syndrome, which she actually found what it was. And part of what Dr. Deborah Sandella does is remove those pieces of that trauma. And good and bad is the yin and yang. We have to have good and we have to have bad to understand what good is and to understand what bad is. So you need to have the opposite. Of every good feeling, there's a bad feeling that's the opposite of it. And then it's our choice to figure out how we can get into the good feelings more than the bad feelings, because those feelings are real important towards our manifestation and towards our just enjoying and having joy in our life, right? Because joy is a choice.
And a lot of it, I think, for the women that I work with, and myself too, right? Because we got to be the example.
Yep.
As you talked about before, was just kind of the whole self-worth. What are we putting ourselves? What's my value?
Yeah.
How and when we get that, sometimes at an early age, it distorts what we are and what we think of ourselves. So this helps to put that thought and that feeling, what it feels like, into something that you can look and feel. And I laid in it. It was so bizarre, but it was like I laid in my heart was what I felt.
Right.
And I saw, and I laid in it. And she's, what does it feel like? It feels like muck and sticky and yuck and get me out. And all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute. This is a hug. Yeah. My heart is hugging me. It's soothing. It's comforting me. It's, and that was it. I mean, that was the move through my heartbreak.
Yeah. And here's a little secret to our listeners is what our value is can and should only be determined by ourselves. No one else determines your value but yourself. So that's a real important thing because it takes the power out of other people's hands. We are so used to giving away our power by allowing other people to evaluate us, by allowing other people to say what our worth is. Our worth is up to us. Our worth is our story. And remember another thing, and this is something that Jack Canfield has said a number of times. Jill, I'm sure you've heard him say but we are never given a dream that we are not given the tools to accomplish. I'll say that again. We are never given a dream that we haven't gotten the tools to accomplish. So we have all the tools inside. Our success codes are inside. We just have to actually look inward as opposed to outward. And as little children, we're taught to look outward. So I know part of my quest in working with the people that I work with, and I'm sure similar to yours, Jill, is to help us be better so that we can help our children not have to go through a lot of the stuff we've gone through.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I am really excited. The other venture of mine is to work with schools. I have actually a friend who's an owner and principal of a private school because they weren't happy with what was happening in their community there.
Right.
And she's excited about understanding more about the success principles, which talk about a lot of this to the youth.
Yes.
And help them to understand it, because, wow, what a better world it would be if we had less adults that were struggling with all the things that we're talking about.
Yeah, these are real life tools that everybody can apply. Sorry to interrupt. That everybody can apply to their lives now. But for the fact, if you and I had these tools back when we were younger, we weren't prepared or ready for it, but we are now. That's why we have them now. That's why everything happens for a reason. You hear me say that all the time. Probably annoyed by that, but the truth is we're given what we need when we're ready for it. So I was ready for it at a certain time. The success principles came in my life. Now I want to share it with anybody who's willing to listen. If we can give it to our children, they can avoid so many of the hurdles that we've had to jump. And also it helps them with critical thinking, because now they're thinking about how it applies to themselves and how to react. Again, E+R=O. What that reaction is. The only thing we control is our reaction, and we really need to have an understanding of what that means. So yeah, what you're doing is incredible. I love this. Bringing it into the schools, and I'm bringing it into my libraries. So I think, we're trying to spread this word as much as possible in the grandest ways possible. So I love this. You must be so excited about this.
I am I'm really, really excited. And, and it's not too late.
Never.
Right? It's never too late. It's never too late in your life to say, hey, I want to change how I think about things, or I want to change how my successes look.
Yeah.
I want to change how I feel about myself. It's absolutely never too late.
I did that.
But the thing, yes.
I did that. I changed my whole trajectory of my life. Once I recognized from big trauma, I had a choice. I could have stayed there and had a pity poor me party. Don't get me wrong. I had a short one. It was a short party, and then I got bored, and I decided I didn't want to stay stuck. So I wanted to move, and I wanted to figure it out. And then I found it myself again. I had lost myself. And I tried to be what everybody else wanted me to be. And then I found myself again, and I'm just having a ball doing this. And now I'm helping other people not only find themselves, but also follow their vision and dreams, learn how to put the tools together. And with the business experience and the marketing experience that I have, I'm able to coach them into their next vision and dreams. And we have lots of them. We have a lot of shifts and a lot of movement. It's about learning how to navigate that and have fun while you're doing it, right?
Yeah, and just one step at a time.
One step at a time, right?
You don't have to do a million things. We hear often the story about the doing the mirror exercise.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I'm sure you've talked about it many, many times. But I tell you, when you don't have someone there, and if you don't know what the mirror exercise is at night, you go and you'll look in that mirror. I actually put one by my bedside so that if I get in bed and I go, oh, I didn't do it, I just pull out my hand mirror.
Yeah, nice.
Put it in and look at myself, and I congratulate myself for the things that I did.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Jill. You got up and had your 6 a.m. accountability call. You got out of bed and went and planned your day on that call. You went, you brushed your teeth. You did the things that are tough to do. You exercised. And congratulating ourselves. And in the very end of all of this, you say, I love you. Yeah. Because for me, especially COVID, right? A lot of us, we've been living alone, or we didn't have the type of contact that we did with the people that we hoped to, our loved ones. And how many people are saying that to you? I love you. Well, why aren't you saying it to yourself?
Right.
because we should love ourselves. And that still brings your vibration up. It makes you feel good. Just to hear that words and you looking at you in the eyes and saying, I love you.
Yeah.
And just feel positive about it. So if you can keep that up for I don't know, we're wallowing between 40 to 60 days, but just do it forever. Because what a good thing is to know what your accomplishments are for the day. You don't talk about what you didn't do. It is all positive talk. So you don't say, I shoulda, woulda, coulda. It is, I did, and I'm grateful for you to do this, Jill, and you accomplished all this, and I love you. What a great way to go to bed.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And then in the morning, if you do your gratitude journal, you can be grateful for all the things that you've done and the things around you and the people around you. And so it just creates a good vibration. Add a little essential oil to that vibration. You'll elevate that vibration. All those things help us just remember how amazing each of us are. You know what? When the baby was learning how to walk, baby fell down a lot, but kept getting up to walk again because they were inspired. They didn't sit themselves down and say, I'm not good at this. I can't do this. They didn't do the woulda, shoulda, couldas. They just got back up. They just got back up and tried it again, So that's how we have to look at ourselves is, we have to not be so mean to ourselves. And I don't know where it happens and when it happens. I'm sure some scientist knows that answer, but at the end of the day, if we're not talking nicely to ourselves and about ourselves, to ourselves, who's going to? So it really starts here. And that's what self-love is about. And that's what finding ourselves is about. When you find yourself, that person who is inspired, that little girl or little boy inside that is just everything is possible and everything is in front of us, that's when you feel the most alive.
Yep. Absolutely. I can really say that. And the other thing that I've really realized too is that surrounding myself with people of like mind, or at least people who are supporting what I want. They may not believe in a lot of the things that I talk about and I've learned, and I'll, because I do Reiki and other kinds of work too, that some people can't quite grasp it, and that's okay. But as long as they're saying, hey, you're doing what you want to do, you're doing what you're passionate about, that kind of support is important, as well as maybe just trying to explain it. Asking for the help and the support from the people around us.
Exactly. And you want to surround yourself with raving fans. And that could be two people. It could be one person. It doesn't matter. That one person, I have that one friend cheerleader, as well as people like yourselves. But this one friend that I'm thinking about, it doesn't matter. She doesn't understand half of what I do. And she's like, I don't understand, but I'm there for you. I'm supporting you. You're amazing. I can't believe what you've done. I can't believe the changes. She saw me through the trauma, before the trauma, through the trauma, after the trauma, and watched me just change my life, take it into my hands and actually do it. And I think why people surround us have that similar vibration, Jill, is because that vibration attracts other people who want to have that vibration or have that vibration. They either want it or they already have it.
Yep. Yeah. And I've heard it said many, many times that, you are the average of the people you hang around. And I really had to have that conversation with my son because he was complaining about his roommates. And I said, guess what? You're going to be like them unless you make some changes. So you can't change them. Let's understand that. You can't change them, but you can change a situation.
Yeah,
so when it
absolutely.
comes time to do your new lease, don't do the lease. When it comes time to go, hey, let's hang out, don't hang out. Find the people who are who you strive to be, right?
Yes.
Because the thing is that you're going to be a mentor and you're going to be inspirational to someone else within that group. If you have a little bit of a different group, and I feel you kind of have a responsibility to that, to be within people and help all people learn from your mistakes, from your knowledge.
Yeah.
And just from who you are. And we can do that. But it is, if we could just kind of have that huge, what we call the Ain't It Awful Club, if we're all just keep being a member of that, then that's where we're going to stay. So it's not in my,
I left the Ain't It Awful Club, a long time ago because it's not. It's actually really joyous. So when I'm in a room and people are doing the Ain't It Awful, I'm like, actually, no, and they don't know what to do, it usually stops the conversation because they're just like, oh, I guess you're right. I'm like, aren't you happy? Because, you just drove here in a car and it's a beautiful day out and you have your health and, you have beautiful children and you have a gorgeous house. And need I mention all the other things we need to be grateful about? And that's when the ain't it awful stops in its tracks. So yeah. And just remember, your network equals your net worth. So if you surround yourself with people who aren't achieving things, then you're probably going to end up the same way. You're going to you're going to mirror the people that you surround yourself with. So surround yourself with, high vibrating, positive, beautiful souls who make you feel good, not only about yourself, but also they feel good about themselves. And you will see such a difference. Jill, you are so amazing. And thank you for stepping out of the classes that you're taking right now to join us today on the show. I know the listeners are grateful. I am ever so grateful for your friendship and for you being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lorianne. It's always wonderful. And like I said, I'm vibrating so much higher every time we meet or text or talk. And I just really, really enjoy it. And thank you, everyone, for listening today and making, your lifestyle important and your health and everything that's about it, because that's what's going to bring you really great joy in your life, is just to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jill, I'd love you to come back. Give us heads up on when you're going into the school and doing other things. I know you have a program coming up. I want to promote that program. So when you're ready, let's promote that and get people up and running and working with you, because you are just totally amazing. Thank you again for joining us on Healthy Lifestyle today. I hope I told you it would be an impactful day with Jill, and sure enough, it is and was. And thank you so much for choosing. I know you could choose to be listening to other places. Thank you so much for joining us every Saturday here and joining us here on Healthy Lifestyle. I am Lorianne Casdia. Until next time, come on, you guys know this by now. Play a higher role, serve a higher purpose, show up for you, and show up big.